You brace yourself the moment cold water hits your skin, yet something unexpected awakens instantly. Your breath tightens, your pulse jumps, and your nerves flare as if ancient alarms just reactivated. This reaction is not weakness. It is a forgotten instinct encoded long before modern comfort existed. Cold does not sneak into your body as a villain. It strikes your biology as a challenge. And every meaningful challenge forces your immune system to reveal how strong or fragile it truly is. For generations, people warned you that chilling your body invites sickness through invisible openings in the air. But Harvard Medical School reminds us that cold cannot manufacture viruses, only exposure to pathogens can. Feeling cold is sensory discomfort, while infection requires microscopic invaders entering through known biological pathways. Your ancestors understood this instinctively as they carved through icy rivers while hunting or migrating. They endured winds sharp as blades, snowfields stretching endlessly, and waters near freezing without collapsing. The cold did not break them. It shaped them into resilient beings capable of adaptive brilliance. Their immune systems stayed sharp because cold demanded sharpness, not because warmth ensured safety. In contrast, your climate-controlled world shelters you from these stressors every waking moment of your life. Mayo Clinic researchers note that constant comfort weakens adaptive capacity by suppressing beneficial physiological stress responses. The immune system, deprived of challenge, drifts into dormancy like a soldier awaiting battles that never start. Cold exposure reverses this drift by delivering a precise jolt known as hormetic stress adaptation. Hormesis is the paradox where discomfort becomes a catalyst, training cells through brief, intentional adversity. Just as lifting weights tears muscle fibers to rebuild them stronger, cold tears complacency from immunity. Within seconds, your skin sensors message the brain to activate survival-coded neural circuits for protection. Norepinephrine surges, sharpening vigilance while enhancing natural killer cell activity across vulnerable tissues. The National Institutes of Health reports that this hormonal spike mobilizes immune cells with remarkable efficiency. Cold is not harming you in this moment, it is rehearsing your defenses for real threats. Yet, everything described so far is only the first layer of a system far more intricate beneath. Because immunity is not only cellular force, it relies on a hidden network, carrying its soldiers everywhere. And in the next moments, you will discover how cold water activates that silent network with astonishing precision. More importantly, you will learn why 30 days of controlled cold exposure can reshape your immunity profoundly. What cold awakens on your skin is only the beginning of a deeper biological conversation inside. Your immune cells cannot protect you unless they can travel, circulate, and reach troubled tissues quickly. That responsibility falls to the lymphatic system, the silent highway carrying waste, pathogens, and immune soldiers. Unlike your bloodstream, this network has no heart, no central pump driving its movement forward. It depends entirely on pressure changes, muscle contractions, and external forces to keep its fluids flowing. When life is sedentary, lymph stagnates, creating sluggish mornings, swollen limbs, and persistent brain fog. Many people mistake these symptoms for aging, yet they often originate from lymphatic congestion instead. NIH studies describe this congestion as reduced immune transport efficiency, leading to slower pathogen clearance. Cold exposure disrupts that stagnation through a powerful reflex called whole-body vascular contraction. The moment cold water touches your skin, vessels tighten rhythmically, compressing lymph channels throughout the body. This contraction acts like a temporary hydraulic pump, pushing lymph toward filtration hubs for rapid purification. Those hubs, your lymph nodes, are biological laboratories where immune cells analyze captured debris for threats. Cold forces these nodes to process more material, sharpening surveillance and accelerating pathogen recognition significantly. It is not detox in mystical terms, but mechanical acceleration of your body's natural waste removal pathways. the Mayo Clinic, highlights that improved lymphatic flow enhances immune readiness and reduces inflammatory burden meaningfully. Cold exposure achieves this without exercise, offering movement to those unable to sustain daily activity. This is why many people feel lighter, clearer, and more energized minutes after stepping from cold water. Your body is not invigorated by shock alone, but by improved circulation of immune intelligence. The effect grows stronger with repeated exposure as vessels learn to contract more efficiently during cold stress. This adaptation is part of cross-training for immunity, conditioning systems neglected by modern predictable temperatures. Sedentary lifestyles rarely stimulate these vessels dynamically, leading to slowed filtration and increased vulnerability. Cold restores that missing stimulus by providing a passive yet potent way to mobilize lymphatic flow. But this is only the structural advantage, the physical machinery that cold sets into motion underneath. The true transformation emerges when this renewed circulation brings reinforcements into the bloodstream itself, because once lymph begins moving, the immune army gains greater access to tissues needing immediate protection. Before we continue, if you've been enjoying this video so far, leave a comment with 1 so I know this content is valuable to you, and so we can keep creating meaningful videos that you won't want to miss. When lymph begins to flow more freely, your immune cells finally move with greater coordination. But cold exposure does more than mobilize them. It increases their overall number significantly. Your immune system operates like an army, and cold training expands its ranks during strategic moments. Researchers from the National Institutes of Health observed increased leukocyte counts after controlled cold exposure. Leukocytes, the white blood cells, are your primary defenders against viruses, bacteria, and damaged tissues. Among them are granulocytes, the rapid responders specializing in neutralizing microorganisms with chemical precision. Yet the most dramatic change occurs in natural killer cells, the elite soldiers targeting infected cells directly. These NK cells patrol silently, detecting early signs of viral takeover before symptoms even appear. Cold exposure boosts their circulation by triggering a powerful surge of norepinephrine throughout the body. Norepinephrine is often described as an alertness hormone, but to immunity it acts like an activation signal. The moment levels rise, immune reservoirs such as the spleen release stored NK cells into the bloodstream. This effect makes your internal defenses more vigilant, more present, and more aggressive against potential invaders. A well-known Czech study found winter swimmers exhibiting heightened NK cell activity and stronger antiviral responses. Their immune systems behaved like seasoned fighters trained to operate efficiently under environmental stress. Another remarkable finding emerged from research comparing antioxidant profiles of cold-exposed individuals. Those who practiced repeated cold immersion showed significantly elevated levels of glutathione, the master antioxidant. Glutathione protects DNA from viral damage and reduces oxidative stress during infections or inflammation. Cold exposure does not merely toughen immunity. It enhances the biochemical tools protecting cellular integrity. This shift unfolds gradually across the first 30 days as your body learns this new rhythm. Week 1 introduces controlled shock, igniting hormonal cascades and mobilizing immune cells previously dormant. Week 2 builds natural tolerance, allowing vessels and nerves to respond with improved stability to cold. Week 3 increases immune output, particularly NK cell readiness and antioxidant capacity across multiple tissues. By week 4, these adaptations merge into a state of heightened immune vigilance and improved resilience. You are not becoming invincible, but your body is learning to defend itself with sharper discipline. These changes do not require extreme cold, only consistent exposure and controlled breathing during discomfort. Yet even with a larger army, immunity still depends on the energy driving each cellular operation. Because a powerful force begins influencing this transformation next, hidden inside your mitochondria and brown fat. And understanding that energy shift reveals why cold exposure strengthens both metabolism and immunity simultaneously. A stronger immune army means little without the energy required to keep those cells fighting effectively. Every immune response demands fuel, and that fuel is produced inside mitochondria, the power stations of life. When cold touches your skin, these mitochondria receive a command that changes their behavior completely. Your body activates thermogenesis, the ancient process of generating heat without movement or external warmth. This reaction begins inside brown fat, a specialized tissue packed densely with mitochondria-rich cells. Unlike white fat, which stores energy, brown fat burns energy rapidly to maintain thermal stability. Harvard researchers describe brown fat as a metabolic organ that becomes highly active during cold exposure. Its mitochondria contain a unique protein called UCP1 that uncouples energy production from ATP synthesis. Instead of storing fuel, these mitochondria release it as heat, increasing metabolic activity across tissues. This heat production does more than warm your body. It enhances overall energy availability for immune function. Higher mitochondrial output improves cellular endurance, especially for immune cells requiring constant metabolic readiness. The metabolic shift also influences hormone sensitivity, particularly insulin, which governs how your cells access energy. Cold exposure improves insulin sensitivity, allowing glucose uptake to stabilize and reduce inflammatory burden significantly. Chronic inflammation drains immunity, forcing cells to fight internal signals before confronting external pathogens. By lowering inflammation through improved glucose regulation, cold indirectly strengthens your immune responsiveness further. This mechanism aligns with findings from the National Institutes of Health linking metabolic health to immune strength. Better blood sugar control means fewer inflammatory spikes, fewer immune distractions, and more efficient cellular communication. Meanwhile, fat metabolism shifts toward greater efficiency, as brown fat activation trains your body to use stored reserves. Instead of hoarding energy, your body learns to circulate it with greater precision during environmental stress. This metabolic flexibility allows your immune system to remain active even during caloric fluctuations or fatigue. People often describe increased mental clarity after cold showers due to stabilized energy supply for neurons. What feels like alertness is actually enhanced mitochondrial function, supporting neurotransmitter balance during stress adaptation. The synergy between metabolic power and immune function becomes clearer as your body adapts daily. Energy is not separate from immunity. Energy is immunity when cells depend on constant biochemical renewal. But mitochondria and brown fat represent only one side of this transformation, the physical foundation beneath resilience. The next layer unfolds inside your mind, where cold stress begins shaping emotional strength and psychological endurance. Because immunity does not operate alone, it relies on your nervous system to regulate balance during adversity. Cold exposure does not test muscle or mitochondria first. It tests your ability to stay composed. When the cold hits, your mind reacts faster than your skin, often with pure instinctive resistance. Your breath tightens before thought arises, showing how deeply discomfort shapes automatic behavior. This immediate reaction is generated by the amygdala, the brain's rapid response sentinel for threat detection. But here is where cold becomes more than physiology. It becomes a form of mental training. Each intentional exposure gives you a chance to practice overriding instinct with conscious breath. Slow breathing activates your prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for measured, rational decision-making. This shift from amygdala to cortex is the foundation of psychological resilience under stress. Scientists call this cross-adaptation, where mastering one difficult stimulus strengthens tolerance for others. If you can stay calm in cold water, where else could that calmness serve you? Have you ever noticed how small stresses accumulate throughout the day Without your awareness, cold becomes a controlled arena where you rehearse steadiness before real-life challenges appear. Deadlines, unexpected news, emotional conversations, and daily frustrations all draw from the same circuitry. Repeated cold exposure strengthens that circuitry, teaching your system to recover faster after activation. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, behaves differently during intentional cold compared to emotional overwhelm. Cold produces a sharp rise, followed by rapid decline, reinforcing efficient stress response cycling. Psychological stress elevates cortisol for hours, weakening immunity and disrupting emotional balance repeatedly. By practicing cold exposure, you train your cortisol rhythm toward sharper spikes and smoother recoveries. Have you ever wondered why some people appear naturally calm while others react explosively? The difference often lies in how their nervous systems process and discharge stress signals internally. Cold exposure enhances this discharge by engaging the parasympathetic system once breathing becomes controlled. This parasympathetic rebound brings clarity, emotional centering, and an unusual sense of inner stability. Many people describe feeling reset after cold exposure, as if internal clutter suddenly cleared. This clarity is supported biochemically by dopamine, which rises significantly and remains elevated for hours, not in a chaotic, overstimulating way, but in a focused, sustaining, motivational upward shift. These mental adaptations become essential because immunity and emotional regulation are tightly interconnected. A calm nervous system reduces inflammation, supports immune coordination, and improves cellular communication. Cold exposure, done consistently, strengthens this mind-body feedback loop more reliably than most habits. But mental resilience is only half of the transformation. Because cold demands structure and safety, 30 days of cold exposure reveal a truth that directly answers the question in our title. Cold does not weaken your immunity. It trains it through controlled stress that sharpens internal defenses. Your body learns to mobilize immune cells faster, circulate lymph more efficiently, and reduce inflammatory noise. This means you respond to threats with more precision instead of mounting exaggerated, exhausting immune reactions. With consistent cold exposure, your norepinephrine response becomes smoother, supporting rapid deployment of natural killer cells. These NK cells patrol tissues with greater readiness, targeting infected or damaged cells more aggressively. Your antioxidant systems strengthen as glutathione rises, protecting DNA during viral encounters or oxidative stress. This biochemical resilience is the core benefit of cold exposure, not the surface sensation of alertness. However, these benefits appear only when cold is practiced with caution and progressive adaptation. The diving reflex remains a real danger for individuals with heart disease or uncontrolled hypertension. Sudden, extreme immersion forces abrupt cardiovascular changes that may overwhelm vulnerable biological systems quickly. Even healthy individuals must respect afterdrop, the delayed fall in core temperature after leaving cold. To avoid this, warming should occur gradually through movement and breath, rather than immediate external heat. A safe 30-day method begins with the Scott's shower approach, finishing warm showers with a cold interval. Week 1 uses 15 seconds of cold, allowing your breath to guide your nervous system. Week 2 increases to 30 seconds, reinforcing calmness while the skin contracts under temperature stress. Week 3 reaches 60 seconds, strengthening resilience in both cortisol rhythm and immune communication. Week 4 transitions to full cold showers, always prioritizing breathing over the intensity of water temperature. The guiding principle remains constant. If your breath becomes chaotic, the stress has exceeded its benefit. With proper breathing and consistency, the immune system adapts more efficiently than most people expect. After 30 days, many experience fewer inflammatory flares, faster stress recovery, and steadier daily energy. Your immune system becomes more organized, less reactive, and better prepared for real viral challenges. Cold exposure does not create invincibility, but it restores ancient adaptive pathways modern comfort has suppressed. This is the value you gain from 30 days. A more responsive immune system grounded in resilience. And this resilience grows not through force, but through rhythmic exposure, mindful breath, and steady practice. Thank you for joining this exploration into cold, immunity, and your body's remarkable capacity to adapt. Hope this video brings value to you. And see you in the next one.